Hey, it's Tara with Reiki on the Run, and I want to talk today about why it can feel lonely when you are waking up. Um, there's several reasons. I have several reasons to go over why it can feel lonely, and the first one is that small talk becomes painful. I used to love that. I used to say I was like a chameleon. I could go to parties and just get along with everyone and talk to anyone about anything, and I still can, but I don't want to. Small talk has pretty much become painful. I don't care about the new gadget that you bought, or what somebody did to you, or about that party you remember way back when. Just it doesn't interest me anymore. It's just painful to sit and talk about nothing. At least I want to hear, if you've read a good book lately, or just where you are spiritually, and it's difficult. And so that is one of the reasons it can feel lonely. You might be experiencing that. I've kind of pretty much for the most part stopped going to parties for that reason, but it still comes up sometimes. So number two, your belief systems change, and that can cause you to lose friends. A lot of people will completely switch sides politically, or exit the political arena completely, or all kinds of things can change. Your ideas about the public school systems, I've mentioned these things before about monogamy, tons of things that you will just start questioning and not agreeing with. A lot of these things, these belief systems, are just things that we were raised with. Usually it's what our parents thought, what our neighborhood thought, and that's the things that we hang on to. And when we wake up, we start questioning all those things, and we start tuning in and finding out who we are really and what we believe in. And because of that, we stop just believing everything we've been fed. But that can take a toll on friendships, because if you're not in sync with that stuff, that can cause some issues. So it's hard to, I know when I left Facebook years ago, it was hard to watch my friends post stuff, political stuff, either side of abortion, or the president's stuff, and just all this. And I would watch my friends just be completely hateful to each other, and it opens your eyes. You just think, man, I'm not in line with this. And when you wake up, you become more authentic. You start living more authentically, and you can't just act like that stuff's okay anymore. And so that when you start dropping your friends because you're just not on the same level anymore with your beliefs, it can feel a little lonely. The next one, you get scared to talk about your experiences. Maybe you have talked about them sometimes, and you've had people think you're crazy. And so maybe you don't want to talk about them anymore. Maybe you haven't talked to anybody about the things you've experienced. And that can run the gamut. There's tons and tons of things. We're all on different paths. We're all in different places. We all experience different things. But usually you'll start experiencing things way, way different than the norm, than the people that you normally hang out with. Maybe your family would understand. And definitely you can get gun shy if people think you're crazy. So that can be lonely. Luckily there is the internet, where you can connect with people who don't think you're crazy. But that's another reason. Another one, you become a vibe snob. I'm a total vibe snob, and I'd probably be already ascended right now if I didn't have kids. Because I'm fine until they get home, and then but I have become a vibe snob, and if I get invited to something and I think there'll be any kind of weirdness or uncomfortableness, or if I really just don't feel like it because I don't want to have the energies of everyone else, I just won't go, and that includes, you stop hanging out with people who are energy vampires, people who just completely drain your energy. You know, you've got those people that are just negative all the time, or always have drama in their life, or you know, you just feel drained when you hang out with them. So you stop doing that, and you stop hanging out. You know, gossiping. It drives me insane. I've had to literally leave people's houses before because they won't stop talking about other people, and I can't be around it. I can't stand it. It makes me insane. You know, I understand you talking a little about a situation happening or something, but to constantly rail on other people, I can't do it. So because of that, you will start to drop people around you for that reason. You'll stop hanging out as much just because you don't want that energy. You know, when you start living authentically and feeling better, you want to keep that up. You know, you just want to keep that high vibe up, and you're going to stop doing all those things that bring it down. And that can include also, you know, going to the bar, or places that you feel, feel good. Next one, it's an internal process. There's a lot of work to be done internally, you know, meditating, all kinds of things. And, you know, if you don't take the time to yourself, the universe will make it happen for you, you know, with illness, with, you know, crazy situations, divorce, all kinds of things. You will find yourself forced to take that alone time in one way or another if you don't do it on your own. It's so much of an internal process, and you have to work on being okay with being with yourself, and being okay in your own vibration, being comfortable raising it. And like I said, that is an internal process, and you're going to be forced to do it. And, you know, you might as well just do it, because the longer you wait, you're just prolonging the inevitable, and it is such a great thing. It is, albeit lonely at times, not empty. It can be alone, but it's not empty. It's very fulfilling, and once it starts happening, you kind of choose to be alone more often than not. So the next one, you raise your vibration. You know, when you do all that internal work, and you stop creating karma for yourself. And, you know, we're all jerks at some point. I'm a jerk to my kids, and I got to work on that. And as you get better at it, your vibration does raise, and that will repel others. You know, as we're in a vibrational universe, and, you know, it's you're just tuning your frequency, and it's just like on the radio. If you're, you know, listening to 95.7, you can't hear what's on 100.2. You just can't. And it's the same, you know, the law of attraction. You are attracting like things, and as you raise your vibration, if other people aren't on that same vibe, they will repel. And that's what usually happens. That's what happens a lot with friends, family members. As you raise your vibration, others are like, and it doesn't work. It's like, you know, the opposite sides of the magnets just, you know, it just absolutely repels. So that can, you know, cause you to, you can just not want to be around people. You can start fighting with people, all kinds of stuff. It just doesn't work. And so another way that you end up hanging out by yourself. Another way I've noticed a lot is you lose to phones. I can't get over how everyone is so attached to their phones. And I mean, I use mine a lot. Obviously, I'm videoing on it right now. And I watch YouTube stuff. But when I am with someone, I don't want to sit and stare at my phone. And I don't even know many people these days that can get through dinner without looking at their phone. And it's kind of sad, but it, you know, kind of makes you not want to hang out with people. You know, I noticed a lot of people too can have conversations. It's so funny because they think they're having a conversation as they're swiping through their phone and just saying these you know, random tidbits and pieces that they'll give you, thinking they're engaging in the conversation, and they're completely not. And it's become like an art form, pretty much. And so that's another way that you can feel alone, because I feel, at least for my own experience anyway, you know, we're all different, but when I started waking up, I just really, really wanted contact. I want Oh, the light just changed. Crazy. Sorry. I really want to know people, and I want eye contact and relationship. And I feel like that's kind of lost. And it's just hard. It's hard when you really care for people and you are engaged in a conversation, then all of a sudden they're staring at their phone, and it just, just shoots me down a couple of notches. I'm just like, oh, okay. And I get it. Some people have work, whatever, but most of the time it's just nonsense. So that's another one. My next one, you can't force others. That's hard too, when you are out and you're talking to people and you can see that they're hurting, and you just know that if they would just meditate, their life would change. Or, there's so many things that you wish you could help people with, but you can't. You can't force anyone down this road. When I was back in the church, I never liked, we went to Africa to knock on huts to bring people to Jesus. And I never liked that part. I never liked that shove it down your throat kind of thing. I always thought, why don't you just live in a way that people, when they see you, they're like, what does she have? What is she doing? And then they'll ask, or they'll want to be around you. And I never liked that shove it down your throat stuff, but you can anyway. You just can't. It doesn't work. I know years ago, if somebody had told me that if I would just meditate, I wouldn't be so angry, or if I just meditate, I wouldn't need all these medications that I was on for depression and anxiety and God knows whatever else. And I just would have been like, all right, whack job, I'm out. So I know it doesn't work. I know because it didn't work for me, and I know from experience, if I try to suggest things that have worked for me, I'm just weird to most people. I mean, it's fine. Sometimes I say things and, give a little in, and if somebody wants to talk about it, fine. But for the most part, you can't force people to do anything, but it's hard. It's hard to watch people suffer and not, know how they could change things up and just, shift their thinking, shift their attitude, meditate, different things, and it would help, but you can't do that. So that gets lonely too, especially if you have friends that are really looping, like I think I've talked about in another video, that some people, when they, after breakup, they just keep talking about the person, and it's just, it's draining. Again, back to the energy vampire thing. It's just completely draining. And so you will tend to shy away from that because you can't sit there and watch people be in pain knowing they could help themselves. So, and the last one, seems like you're the only one awake. It's hard. You're not the only one awake. A lot of people are waking up, and a lot more are waking up. There's a big, great mass awakening happening, and people are coming around. I'm noticing more and more that I am having better conversations, and people are waking up and at least being open to things. And, that goes along too with when you change your vibration, when you work on yourself and you do raise your vibration, and it is very important to do that internal work. It is important to be alone a lot, to get that done, to work with your own demons, stop worrying about everybody else's, get yourself in a better place. And then what has to happen because of the law of attraction, is that you have to start attracting like situations. Once you raise up, it's just like with everything else. It's why your friends drop off. It's why family members drop off. That's why it seems so lonely, because everything that you're used to is gone because it's repelling. But guess what that means? As you raise your vibration, it's going to start, after you repel those people, if you can get away from that, because the more you keep those friends and family and people and situations around that aren't good for you, because a lot of times you try because that's what it's what you're familiar with, and you don't want to be alone. But once you get rid of all that, what has to be attracted to you is of a match to your vibration. And so as you raise it, you will start bringing in those people that match your vibration and that you can talk about these things with and grow with. And it's really, really exciting. So do not fear. Don't be sad. Don't worry. You're not going to be alone forever. Although I have to say, I enjoy my aloneness. I enjoy being alone. I enjoy sitting in my vibration when I can raise it, as long as it's not, one of those times I'm being a jerk to my kids. And because the more often you do it, you'll keep raising. You keep working. If you keep being intentional, it'll keep raising and more of these great people will come. But I do enjoy being alone. And once you've experienced the amazingness that can be meditation, you kind of want to sit at home and meditate instead of, go out and talk about the weather and other parties and, stuff like that. So I think that's all I have. Hopefully this has helped you. And just know that it's getting better. It's going to be better if you feel alone. Just know that it's because you haven't dropped everything yet to allow the others that are a match to your vibration, because that's what this is all about, the spiritual awakening. It's raising your vibration and living authentically. And then those other people will start coming in. So hope this helped. See you later.